unprecedented real estate crash, and it could crash up to 86% by 2030. I have received another confidential letter from one of our subscribers and viewers from the channel. They wrote me an email. They found my email in the description. I would like to thank you, and I believe that people need to hear your email, right? Like obviously I got the consent to read the email out. I will say no names or anything like that, but it is interesting when people go through a downfall, when they experience such falls in real estate market or stock market or anything like that. They seem to have more caution, and they seem to be calculating things very differently. So let's get right into this email. Again, thank you so much, and let us all hear, because it is impossible to write all of this in the comments, even though a lot of people are commenting and liking my videos. But let's get right into it. So the short summary of the message: the real estate market is of an unprecedented crash, potentially worse than the past downturn in the 81, 82, 91 to 96. Prices could drop up to 86% by 2030, leaving many investors, homeowners, and speculators bankrupt. The main causes include over-leveraged foreign investment without market knowledge and historical cycles that always repeat. Many will lose homes, estates, financial stability, and so on. So let's get right into the email here. All right, so hello friend. If you have never been through a real estate boom or crash, then you do not know anything. History keeps repeating itself. There is nothing new under the sun. What has been will before and will come again. There is nothing new under the sun. That was the statement as per this anonymous email. I have seen two real estate crashes. 1981 to 1982 was an interest rate crash. Rates went up to 18 to 22%, and 1991 to 1996 crash after the real estate boom from 1985 to 1990. Some of us can remember that, some of us cannot remember that. I mean, I have not traded real estate. I was not involved. I was too young. But I do remember, and I do speak to friends and colleagues and acquaintances that have went through these stages and these booms and busts and these markets, and they tell me, oh boy, it is real. It can happen, and it does happen. As mentioned from our friend here from the channel, it says, look, history keeps repeating itself, fortunately or unfortunately. But let's get into the letter. And top of the market was January 1990. GTA average price was between $290,000 and $300,000. Although homes were selling for $1, $2, $3, $4 million. Mortgages were 14 to 15% in 1989 to 1990. Then the market crashed 66% from $300,000 in the 1990 to $110,000 low in 1996. So let's swallow this. So 66% from 1990 to 1996. And you know what? If you went through it, please comment. Like, I need people to comment, and I also need people to not verify, but just acknowledge if they have seen this. And then on the other side, what do you really think? Is it possible for us to see another drop of 20, 30, or even 66% in the current mindset or the current shift or the market? So we'll get into that. So the boom was local with third and fourth mortgages. Back then, no Chinese money, nor Korean, nor etc. I was in the market with rental properties with partner from 1987 to 1990. I worked for the highest commercial property management company in Canada. Triley Property Management HQ was at the Yorkdale Shopping Center in the offices there. This was in the 1989. If you don't know, Yorkdale Shopping Center is one of obviously the best in Toronto, high end, and it's still there. Obviously, they extended it since the 1989. But look, if you're trying to look for a parking, good luck. It's always busy there. Anyways, so we had the best and the biggest real estate developers in the world with the Orthodox Jews, Reichman brothers, known as the Midas Touch, that went bankrupt and to the banks owing $10 billion in the 1992, but they had cooperative covenant, no personal guarantees. So let's move on, which is very interesting. Even back then, people were losing money in billions of dollars. Now, let me tell you exactly what will happen and why. So, let's hear this out. Factors. Number one, there was no Chinese, Korean, Iranian, and lately Indian students at Mass from 2013 to present. People of any population in Toronto or GTA in 1985 to 1996. These people came from 2002 after 9/11 and the new order. These people don't know anything about investing. China was poor in World War I after the Opium Wars and some gangs or something like that happened, and was poor when it came to Canada in 1975. Was poor in the 80s, was poor in the 90s, and then our politicians destroyed our manufacturing from the 1990 onwards, and all went to Asia. They outsourced the tech to India starting about the same time in 1993 and onwards. So both China and India went to the poor, to rich, not by themselves, but outside forces. So everybody else, by acquiring their cheap labor and their mechanisms, made them rich. So Chinese, Korean, Iranian, Indian people do not know that real estate crashes badly and stays long for a long time, stays low for a long time. So I was mentioning that many times, stuff that crashes, and stuff that remains low, it is hard to rejuvenate. It is hard to bring it back. And it might not even be sometimes the money. It's the confidence. If people are losing the confidence, they're losing the confidence, right? Because they start asking questions. What if? What if it doesn't go? So what if I invest? And then what if, right? Like, so ifs and buts and all that stuff. So anyways, let's continue. So example, high 1990, $300,000, low 1996, $110,000. He's talking about real estate prices, so a 66% drop. Returned to $300,000 on average in 2004 and stayed flat to 2015 with an average GTA prices between $330,000 to $350,000, right? So that's exactly the graph. It goes like this, falls down. It takes a while by the time we see that a market iron out, or from the peak to the dip to the peak price again. Sometimes it takes a decade. People think it takes 2 quarters, 1 year, one calendar year. Not a chance. It's much more complex than that. So then from January 2016, the prices went parabolic, which means went up, with the top in 2022, and I do agree. I believe the peak of the market in Toronto GTA was somewhere in March of 2022 at the average of 1.3 million. That is at 10 times from the low of 110,000 in 1996. And therefore, we're having these issues, right? Who can afford something? Everything went up. People, even if they wanted to, and everybody wants shelter, don't get me wrong. Everybody loves real estate, not because maybe they might love it, but they need a shelter. Like, you need to live somewhere, right? But then again, the question is, you need to live somewhere, but if you can't afford it, you can't live there, right? So let's move on. Point number 4. In speculation, especially real estate, you have one top price and one low price. when a top price is made, it waffles from the year like 89, 90, and then in 1991 it crash. Snowball takes a effect. The times like we had three tops. April 2017, $917,000. February 2020 with $920,000, and March 2022 with 1.3 million. That this has never happened as per claim. So in the 90s, it went up, hit the peak, boom, like a cliff, no questions. But down here, as per claim, with our anonymous subscriber here, I says we had three tops: 2017, and then 2020, and then 2022. Which, if you're looking at the graph, you can see how it was playing out. So, point number 5: this real estate cycle is the way overextended and due to an Armageddon type crash. The market took off in 2016 due to the Asian money, and then Korean, and then lately Iranian in the last 3 years. These immigrants know nothing about real estate investing, and just because real estate went up in Asia, they think it does the same in Canada. Could be true. I mean, like every country, every era, every pocket on Earth or on the globe has different vibes, different systems, different lenders, and all of that stuff. Definitely could be a difference. So China is mostly controlled. Canada is a free market, and a free market has to have people lose their money and go bankrupt, which means it's a free market. Anything can happen in a free trade market. So what's the message? I mean, can you look at the flags? I mean, like, yeah, many people were blaring, were saying, look, red flags, what are you doing? Like, money is so cheap, this thing will flip. So I don't know what happening to these people. FOMO, which means fears of missing out. But let's get into the point number 6. A fool and his money are easily paired. If you do not know history, you do not know anything. All right. So point number 7, the market is going to crash 86%, and the low will be by the 2030s. The topping period has been 2022, 3, 4, 5, and maybe even 26. Or we may see a crash starting this year by a 50% drop from the highest, from the high is guaranteed. Last time prices crashed 66%. This time it will be worse. So we can claim that from the 2022, I'm saying this, no, it's not in this letter. So so from 2022 March, from today, we have seen a decline of 15 to 20%. So if we need to hit this 50%, so another 30% shave, a haircut, to get to a 50%. So the last time the prices crashed up to 66%, as per claim here that it could be even worse because the top up happened in 2022, 3, 4, 5, and even 2006. So the average price in 1985 was $80,000. March 2022 was 1.3 million. So first drop is to 50%, which will bring us to 650,000. Then the 66 drop in price will bring the average DTA price to 429,000. An 86% drop will bring the prices to $234,000. So if this happens, as per claim here, you claimed my friend, right? So my friend, like if this happens, as per claim here, right? Like it says here, my friend. So if this happens, and if we see prices come down to $234,000, believe me, a lot of people will be able to afford real estate. However, I think everybody that has anything, owns anything, or is involved into real estate one way or another will go upside down, belly up, right? So what people don't believe today, And I had a conversation this morning with a friend of mine, and she said, if I cannot close on a penthouse in downtown Toronto, which was paid, I believe, 1.7 and change, 1.7 million and change, what will I do? I said, well, what will you do? I mean, if you cannot close, you cannot close. You'll go under, the builders go after you. I don't know. It's more like of a lawyer type of conversation at this point, right? But he said, well, what can they do? They cannot squeeze blood out of a rock. Well, I don't know what they're gonna do. So what was happening in the 90s? I'm sure a lot of crazy stuff was happening, and I'm sure they will find a way to go after you for a long time. So let's get into the point number 9. Joint and several liabilities. All these investors and partners do not understand the banks will sue them all when the prices start snowballing down. If they cannot find one investor, as they have to serve the papers, then they will just put in it to another investor. All right, point number 10. People will go bankrupt and will lose their house, cars, RRSP, all their assets to pay for the upside down mortgage, lose their assets as well. There are hundreds of thousands of illegal homes with students, all kinds of monkey business, 6 to 10 in a house all over GTA. When the prices go below the mortgage and the bank puts the power of sale, all these hundreds of thousands of students will be on the street. This is very heavy. We know I need to fuel myself a little bit here because it is heavy to even visualize. I mean, I have not gone through this in the 90s, but it is just heavy to kind of visualize all of this. So, point number 11, people do not know what is coming. Like the real estate crash in America in 2008 to 2015, which was the worst one in 80 years. Ours will be 10 times worse as we do not have the population. A lot of Asian, Indian people will run back home. There is nothing under the sun. What has been will be again. There is nothing new under the sun, as proclaimed. People will lose $300,000 in equity in 4 to 6 months, but will not pay me for my worth or knowledge is saving their life. I told 2 people exactly what to do, and they did not listen to me in 2021. Now they will have no option but to go broke. Credit score gone, assets gone, all because of personal guarantee and joint and several liabilities. I know how to save people from the total destruction. I have been through this myself, dealt with them all, lawyers, bankers, agents, tenants, collection agents, and all of the above. I know more than all these people as I lived through 1991 and 1996. So if people are interested in having a plan or save themselves, softer loss or not to lose at all, which is incoming, they just can see it. Then I can tell them exactly what to do. Of course, this is not free. I lost light. Whoo, as I was reading this, my light just went off. No battery. So, new battery, new beginning. Let's read this again. So, if they're interested in having a plan to serve them, softer loss or no loss at all, which is incoming, they just can see it, then I can tell them exactly what to do. Of course, this is not free per claim. To see your home lose $300,000 to $500,000 in equity, which is not coming back, and to lose all your assets. Prices are heading in one direction as per claim, going down, and the bull traps are everywhere. Now, finally, top 1990, next 2017, 27 years. Second top, 2020, 30 years. Third top, 2022, 32 years. So top to top, 32 to 33 periods. Hopefully, you have read all I have said because I'm telling you the future before it happens. the playbook is always the same. If you feel there is a possibility of doing business and saving hundreds of thousands of investors from total destruction, they will face a softer destruction if they act now. Then you can reply on my message and we can proceed from here. So I don't know, like they have not written any types of businesses, names, or anything like that. I just wanted to read this particular email. It's not sponsored or anything like that. Like I just wanted these two senses, putting them together with somebody that went through it, with somebody that saw the graphs, with somebody who looked at the graphs. Yes, some of these things are extremely dramatic and they feel and they look scary. But if you speak to whoever you speak, like even on the street, like you can see that they're becoming tense, right? Either that money that is coming in is not serving their current need or whatever it might be. Maybe they have other problems, like somebody that I spoke to this morning. They have a 1.7 million penthouse closing soon. So they're, thinking, how are they going to come up with that money? On top of that, I'm 100% positive that 1.7 million dollars that they paid cannot be appraised on that. So they need to top up on that in order to close and whatnot. So people are panicking. People are thinking, where are they going to pull their money together in order to close on some of these things? So I hope you got something out of this video. I know it's a heavy video. Please comment below. Like I definitely value your opinion and your comments, and I try to reply as fast as I possibly can so we can have the conversation ongoing. So if you would like to continue on any of my other videos, here's a chance. You can click on any of those 4 on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one.